Go.
So the call to order for an emergency meeting of the Hidden Valley Lake Board of Directors for August 22nd. And not having an agenda in front of me, it would be an emergency meeting. This was called at the request of our general manager. So I guess I will turn it over to you, Randy. Emergency meeting of the Hidden Valley Lake Board of Directors.
Got their audio on. You can see the screen. We have a. I'll pick it up so you can hear me better. We have an imminent threat of a fire. I think everybody's aware of that. I received a phone call late yesterday afternoon, followed up by another phone call today from CAL FIRE Chief Wink, and he has requested that we coordinate an effort to cut a fire line on the sides of the association, particularly the northeast side, Ravenhill, Eagle Rock area, to help them keep the fire at bay. Currently, the fire is enough of a distance. It's still not like knocking on the door, but because they do not have adequate resources to get an advance team in here, he has requested that we help them out. We have coordinated with Community Service District. Their board just met and approved their expenditure of resources to provide, to do this work. So we're going to work in partnership with them. So the reason for this meeting is to request the board authorize the potential expenditure of up to $2,000 a day on our behalf, on behalf of the association and the CSD. In the event that the fire comes, we'll have a fire line cut. The probability is high that the FEMA and California OES will reimburse the CSD, and so we'll cover most of that. It's actually $20,000 a day cost for the equipment, but in the event, so there will be a portion remaining that is not reimbursed by the state and feds, and that would be the amount that would be necessary to cover. I've been informed by the contractor, one of the contractors that is going to help do this, that if necessary, they will donate time. So there's a high probability that will not actually cost us any money. But just in case there is, it looks like best guess, a total of 5 days will be necessary to cut the line because it's that area up on Ravenhill. It's pretty rough terrain, a lot of brush in there and up around Eagle Rock. CAL FIRE's request, which I'm putting on the screen now, the email, it clearly states that we do not need the private property owner's permission. This is actually rancho property for the most part. It is outside the association boundaries. It is covered if anybody's been in the Ravenhill area, I was just up there a little while ago. It is very dense brush, and it makes a lot of sense to do this work. The only other potential cost to us would be once the fire line is cut, the fire emergency is through, it might be beneficial for the association to consider putting up some form of a barbed wire type fence to keep the people in, off the private property outside the property. But that's essentially the report. I did speak with Chief Paul Duncan, and that's who this email is from. The conversation was originally initiated by Chief Wink, but he is actually fighting a different fire down the Monterey area. So this is working with Paul Duncan. And that's what I have, the report. One more thing. He did suggest, Chief Duncan did suggest that the fire threat is more imminent from the south, but the effort up on the Eagle Rock area and Ravenhill is much more labor intensive. In conversation with the contractor, it would be fairly simple to doze the line on the south end of the property if the fire does get close enough. That's all relatively flat and open. So the idea would be to start up on the northeast portion and if necessary move south. But that's what we're trying to accomplish here with this meeting.
Okay, so you're looking just could you summarize what you need from the board here to help us with our motion?
Randy,
Sure.
put the bar
What I
back up. Put the bar back up, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, those of you that can see the screen, okay.
So what I'm looking for is a board authorization. I mean, technically, probably it would not exceed my spending authority, but I felt more comfortable bringing it to the full board also to provide, information to the members. I understand there are over 40 listening right now or observing online. That this is an expense, an unanticipated expense. If we actually have any cost, it would come out of the contingency funds, is my understanding. Kim on the line, correct me if I'm wrong there. But she did inquire also of our insurance. It is not eligible for insurance monies because it's, preventive and insurance doesn't cover that. But so potentially it could cost us, up to $10,000. It probably would be less if it cost us anything, but I just wanted the board to be aware.
Okay. So I guess someone want to make a motion?
Of course. I move that we approve potential expenditures to cut fire line at CAL FIRE's request.
I'll second that.
Okay. Sounds good. So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Let's go around Director Story.
Well, you already know how I feel. This is awesome. I think it's far overdue. Kim Smith and Kim Smith's husband and Supervisor Brown were out there cutting lines with another gentleman for the last couple of days, volunteering it. Let's do it. Why wait?
Okay, sounds good. Director Wiley Bowers?
Yes, I think it's very important. We need to do whatever we can to protect Hidden Valley Lake.
Okay, Director Lentz?
I repeat exactly what my two other directors just said.
Okay, Director Darnell?
I'm in agreement also, whatever it takes.
Okay, Director Long?
I'm in agreement too, whatever we need to do.
Okay, and I guess I generally think this is great. The two questions I had, it looks like previously when we had thought about doing this, we were required to get all the owners' permissions along the way, but because of an emergency, we're now not required to. Is that correct?
That's correct, and I have that in an email from Chief Duncan.
Okay, and then my second is just the route that they're planning to do. I'm looking at a map and I see behind Raven Hill and Green Ridge, kind of going all the way from Spruce Grove to Dallas Court. It looks, I think that area.
Charles, you want to chime in there? Charles, you want to chime in there?
Yes, sir. Yes, the area to the east of Raven Hill and Green Ridge is north of the Ranchos, but yes, it would extend from Raven Hill, from Spruce Grove Road, all the way down to Dallas Court area. Most of the brush is outside of the Raven Hill Park area. There's a pretty big area there that has a substantial amount of brush that's a risk to the community. And then also from north of Spruce Grove and along the eastern boundary of Eagle Rock all the way up to Little Peak. That is another area that we have performed shaded fuel breaks before using the Canocti crews, but some of that material has started to crack, so that would be another area of focus.
Okay, the topography on that area isn't in the way of that, I guess. It seems like it's pretty cliffy over there, a pretty fast rise.
It is pretty heavy. Kevin and Rob, pretty confident they get most of it. And speaking with CS Steel a while ago, they put a call out to their kind of mutual aid group called CalWARN, WARN, and it's Water Agency Resource Network or something like that. Essentially looking for hand crews to come in and help deal with that area that's really steep. I had a conversation with Chief Wink earlier today, and I said, that not all of this area is accessible with heavy equipment, and he agreed. I said it's kind of like closing 4 doors but leaving 5 or 6 open, and he understood that. But he said anything we can do, as the fire gets closer, chances are the CAL FIRE will have some additional resources available, and it'll be less for them to have to do. So, he was thinking, let's do whatever we can.
Okay. Nope. Good answers. Those were my only questions about doing it. Any of the other directors have a second comment or a question they want to add?
No.
I just want to add that we just got an emergency notice for Lower Lake.
Yep.
Mandatory.
Yeah, no, that
So I
means that
think we
it's not
should-
heavy. Oh, go ahead.
I just think that we should do it just in case.
Yeah, we just got an emergency on our TV saying evacuation Lower Lake 29, etc.
Mr. President, this is Russ again.
Sure, Russ, go ahead.
The area south of Morgan Valley Road down to Hossacker and east of Highway 29, that area has been under an evacuation warning. That has now been elevated to a mandatory evacuation, similar to the area for Hidden Valley Lake and surrounding areas. So obviously they're mapping this fire very closely, and due to its movement, even though it's maybe not moving as fast as our Valley Fire or other fires you've experienced in the past, but it is moving. And that's why they have elevated that now to a mandatory evacuation for that area. Everything north of Morgan Valley Road all the way up to Highway 20 and to the east of 53, we have received reliable information from sources from CAL FIRE that we are looking at that's probably going to be put under an evacuation warning here very soon. That's not confirmed at this point, but that's the information we're receiving. But this notice that just came out is affecting that area just north of us for that mandatory evacuation.
Okay, no, good news, and not to wish it to anyone. To me, that's a little hope that it's moving away from us, but yeah, who knows where it'll go next. So, okay, any other comments before we call the roll for vote?
Bruce, one other thing I just wanted to mention to folks that are listening online. In conversation with the authorities, they indicated that they will not risk their lives for individuals who have so far defied the evacuation order. So, if the fire comes, if it's in a hurry, don't count on any help. So the idea is if we've been under evacuation notice now, this is the 3rd day, and the people that are staying behind are defying that order, in many cases understandably so, but nonetheless, the idea would be that, stay at your own risk.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's go ahead and call the vote then. We have a motion and a second to authorize the general manager to move ahead with the fire break clearing, up $2,000 a day, approximately, possibly to $10,000. And so let's go for the vote. Director Story, how do you vote?
Absolutely, yes.
Director Wiley Bowers,
Yes.
Director Lentz,
Absolutely.
Director Darnell,
Yes.
Director Long,
Yes.
Director Brashears, yes. And the motion passes 6-0.
Excellent.
So,
Thank you very much. Just so everybody knows, in conversation with Kevin Smith, this work will be initiated approximately 4 a.m. tomorrow. It's kind of late in the day. They'll get mobilized, but the work will actually begin in about 12 hours.
Okay, good. And while we have this moment, as you mentioned about the evacuees, any other general news that we can share or should share with the members right now, or with the board?
Yeah, just to reiterate, the state has highway patrol officers. It is a hard close at Spruce Grove and the highway, as well as Hartman Road and the highway. The Old Main Gate has been blocked with a vehicle, so the only access is through those two checkpoints. They are being very strict about it. So again, if you go out, you will not be able to get back in. Our internal gates are unstaffed and open because we're relying on, at this moment anyway, the highway patrol to restrict access. So yeah, just again, a warning to folks who are home and sheltering in place. Once you go beyond that point, you will not be able to get back in.
Mr. President, this is Russ. One other comment to add to what Randy's saying is that due to that elevation from a evacuation warning to mandatory evacuation just north of us up to Morgan Valley Road and to the east of 29, Spruce Grove Road, the hard closure that was at Spruce Grove Road and Jerusalem Grade has been moved all the way up to the hard closure of Spruce Grove Road North as well. So the entire loop of Spruce Grove Road is now under a hard closure.
Okay, good news for that. Okay, Randy, anything else?
No, I think that's all I have to add at this point. So let's everybody be safe and hope that it doesn't come close, but we're definitely ready for it.
Okay, well, yeah, I wanted just to add that the board and the members, thanks to yourself and to Russ and Kim Smith and all the other staff that have been working so hard to keep all of us safe. We appreciate everything that you're doing and working to put this fire break together. So.
Okay.
Okay, I think with that.
Add
all right.
Kim's husband to that list.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I know there are a lot of other people I didn't mention, but for those of us in exile, in evacuation, we appreciate everything that you're doing. So with that, I'll go ahead and adjourn the meeting. Thanks everyone for taking the time to listen in, and everybody be safe out there.